So have you ever had somebody that you really care about who keeps making the same bad decisions? They isolate, they're drinking, addiction, and you want to help them? It bothers you, right? Like you see their life going in a direction and you may even think like, I could fix them or whatever, but you're struggling to know how to help. I bet you can relate. I can relate. And I can also relate because I struggle as well. And I want someone to fix me, but just kidding about that. But I want to help. So this is the Decide Your Legacy podcast. Today we're talking about 7 powerful ways you can help other people, your friends, your coworkers, your family, even strangers. And at the end of this, I got a crazy story to share with you. It involves me actually getting shot at with my buddy Josh. Stick around. And if you haven't already, check out episode 148, where I talk about the first 4 ways, powerful ways you can help other people. I'm covering the next 3 today. At the end of this podcast, you're going to feel inspired to reach out and to do some productive things. It's going to surprise you what those actions are, maybe making some mistakes that you haven't even identified yet. I'm Adam Gragg. I'm a family therapist and I'm a legacy coach. I have been doing this kind of work for over 25 years. My business is called Decide Your Legacy, founded it in 2012. And my purpose, my aim is, and our aim as a company is to empower every person and organization to live courageously. Nothing is more important to your mental health than being courageous. Nothing's more damaging than just playing it safe. So I like to start off every episode sharing something that I've done recently that was courageous. It may not feel courageous to you, but it was for me. So what I did is I had a business meeting last week with a company that's interested in hiring Decide Your Legacy, and I brought in another business leader to join me. And I hadn't actually done that before. He's in the same industry. He's actually very experienced. He had a ton to offer. It was uncomfortable for him. It was uncomfortable for me, but it ended up being a really positive connection for both businesses. And I learned a lot and I grew. So, hey, I want you to start with an action as well. Who is somebody in your life that you see potentially struggling? Maybe it's a sibling or a parent or a friend, and you struggle to know how to actually encourage them, how to help them. I want you to think about that individual. Often it is good to think of a sibling or a parent because those are people you interact with a lot, and you've probably built up some bad habits that you can work on breaking today. Let's go ahead and jump in and work on breaking it. So if you haven't already, go back to episode 148. First four ways you can help people is you can help them clarify a vision for their future. You can help them face their junk that's holding them back, their past, bad habits. You can help them have a change in attitude to shift their perspective. You can help them understand what they bring to interactions and see it clearly so they understand they can go into relationships and they add value. Good stuff. So why do you want to actually help people? Well, helping other people is really why you exist. You're made for this. You're made to give back. And it builds your connections with people. It's very gratifying to see somebody make changes in their life, to face their own fears, to live courageously. And you know at some level that you may have had a part in that. And it's really gratifying years down the road to say, well, I engaged in that relationship in a way where I may have had a part in that. You have powers that you may not even actually know about. You know, my dog Max turned 16 just last week. I didn't actually know. The vet told me that's what the record said. So he may be a little older, maybe a little younger. Whatever he is, he's the oldest dog at this vet clinic where they do boarding and everything. And it wasn't just a month ago when I got a call on the last day of a vacation. I'm driving in the car with my mom and the vet calls and says, I don't think your dog's going to make it. I was coming back the next day and my mom started crying. and I'm like, I'm sad. I mean, this is a good friend of mine, my dog. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, man, I got back and they're like, this miracle has happened. He must have known you were coming back. He bounced back from that. He's deaf and incontinent. That's okay. You will be too when you're 112. And but he bounced back, man. I mean, I dropped him off there today and they're like, we don't know what happened to him. And I said, hey, there's power. We underestimate the power of love because he feels loved. And you can do the same thing with other people in your life. Amazing stuff. So the first power that you may not be aware that you actually have is you can help people actually experience their feelings, experience their emotions. People basically have three choices when it comes to their feelings. They can stuff them, they can suppress them, push them down. And oftentimes people who have that habit, they invalidate emotions in other people because they're not comfortable with them in themselves. Other people are hurting, other people are struggling, other people are excited. They have trouble saying things like, hey, I can really tell you're excited, and being excited with them. Or if they're sad, it seems you're really struggling, and stepping into that sadness with them. We can invalidate by telling people to get over it, even just by our body language, by our own level of discomfort. So the second thing you can do is you can express them. And this can lead to some really bad stuff. It's like you're taking orders from your feelings. I feel like I must say something to that person, and I go ahead and say it to them. And it ends up derailing the whole relationship. I feel like I should tell them off for disrespecting me, and I go ahead and tell my server off. You're not paying attention to me. What are you doing? No, if we listen to them and we go down that path, it can lead us really down a negative spiral into the gutter. So you don't want to take orders for them. And you don't want to actually listen to what they're telling you to do, even in private. So they may tell you, you're so tired, take a nap, procrastinate. You don't have to face that thing right now. You can face it later. Go ahead and watch TV instead of preparing for your next podcast or preparing for your next client. Nope, you don't need to do it. And then that leads us down a spiral as well. They're not our friends. They can give us very valuable information. And that's kind of the contradictory thing here. It may sound really contradictory because they give us insight into ourselves, and they also give us insight into our perspective and our attitude, but they don't give us truth all the time. They don't give us that actual direction. They can actually tell us what not to do rather than what to do. So the third thing you can do, which is what I want you to encourage you to do with people you care about, is you can experience them. You can learn from them. If you feel a certain way, it doesn't actually mean it's true, but you can still learn and identify and say, I'm really feeling excited about this person, and I think I'm going to marry him. But then you realize that you've just had a few too many drinks, and this is not a healthy decision. Not me, I'm saying you. So anyway, but you can get bad advice from these feelings. You can observe and say, I'm really afraid here, and why? What's going on here? Well, maybe it's connected to a bad experience you had previously in a certain similar situation. And you're able to identify that and step back from it and then not take orders from it. So recognizing them gives you power over them. You're able to identify what's going on. You can do that. You have the power to do that, but some of you don't believe me. But I'm going to give you an example to show you. So a client, this is actually very recent. The guy came in and he said that his wife struggles with him because he's not open about his feelings. And I asked him, well, what benefit would it be in your life if you started talking about your emotions? And he sarcastically said, no, just no benefit. It wouldn't really do anything. Emotions, those things are silly, and he was totally joking, but he was making a point too, that he wants to push him away. The sarcasm was a self-protective function. And the guy has kids, the guy has friends, family, job, successful dude, and he's learned to function this way. And we talked a little bit about it. And it boiled down to that in his life, there have been a lot of situations where he hasn't felt seen. And it goes way back. Like he's been in situations where he's had to be the funny guy. He's felt that way, at least. He's been in situations in his life from early childhood where it was about performance, not being accepted for who he is. And so that feeling can go pretty deep. And just the talking about it in that setting with me as his coach and everything, I believe that has tremendous benefit. You find somebody safe. You can be that safe person to talk about whatever it is behind where it started. And they realize that a lot of this emotional stuff is based on stuff in their past that they can unpack and undo. And that safety you can provide for them by validating them, by helping them talk about it, by helping them identify it, by pointing out to them, like, it seems to me you feel frustrated. It seems to me you feel insecure. It makes sense to me you feel that way based on what you've gone through in your life. That's the validation you can get at. And you can ask questions like, how are you feeling about this? Really? People that are not comfortable with their feelings are going to struggle with that potentially, but don't relent. Why? Because it's not about you. It's about helping. It's about helping somebody else. That's crucial right there. In fact, if you go into trying to help other people and you're making it about you, then you're going to be triggered by their emotional reactions. If you're making it about helping somebody else, then you're able to sit with it even when they're pushing you away because you truly believe that this is helpful to them. It's going to require you getting uncomfortable. So maybe you can think in your own self, what are you putting off because you're afraid and why? And then how do you feel about it? And what is the foundation of those feelings? That gives you some insight. Great question to ask yourself, even at the beginning of the day. What do I not want to engage in the most? It's probably something you could spend some time processing and then taking some steps to actually engage. So the sixth powerful way you can help other people is you can help other people care for themselves. And I am not a woo-woo self-care dude. In fact, my thinking about self-care is going to probably shock you. So I think it's great that people have hobbies, and I believe people should have hobbies for one main reason, because those activities that you find enjoyable take the focus off of yourself and they put it on something healthy. I'm talking about healthy hobbies, all right? So I'm not talking about escapism here. We can justify and rationalize something as a hobby that's really us escaping and avoiding. But those rejuvenating, energizing, passion-driven activities that you find the next day to have filled you with energy, it's filling you with energy because you're taking the focus off yourself and you're putting it on to something productive that you can continue to develop. Getting the focus off yourself is self-care. That's what causes people so many issues, is they're consumed with their own feelings. They're consumed with what they want, and they're forgetting that they have a lot of ways they can help other people. I told you it'd kind of shock you. When I was 22, I started mentoring a kid through a mentoring program here in this town that his name's Robbie, and we still have a good relationship today. He was 12, okay? So I'm 51, he's 41, I get it confused. He's 40. He's 10 years or 11 years younger. Okay. So he had gone through, and when I was matched with him, he had gone through a lot of significant challenges. He was in foster care. He hadn't met his father. He was struggling. And I remember being incredibly insecure. What do I have to offer this kid? Okay, I'm going to give it a shot because people have convinced me this is a good thing. That was basically my attitude. And I remember taking him to the YMCA and sitting in the parking lot. And I said, one thing, and I don't even know where it came from, but I said, man, Robbie, you've gone through a lot. And he got emotional and I got emotional. I was shocked. And at that point, I realized that I can help people in ways that that I never thought I could before. It was like this, it was the start of a great relationship. And we talk, I mean, we hang out. He's married now. He owns his own business. He owns a construction business, and it's a super cool thing. And I look back and wonder, like, where did it start? And it changed my life, and I believe it impacted his life as well. And one way it changed my life is I realized I want to get more tools. I want to learn what's going on here because this is filling me up so much and creating so much excitement in my life that I don't want this to stop. And I never thought it actually could happen. Cool stuff. And I'm able to, and you're able to help other people identify these ways that they can give back. I mean, sure, ask them about their hobbies, even invite them to engage in your hobbies, but help them to see that they have tremendous value to give. And I find that when I engage in healthy activities that are rejuvenating, I get back from this self-consumption and this performance mentality and self-promotion. And I realize, man, I got something to give back, and I want to give back. And it's so energizing because then it's like, man, this is what life's about. I can help people. It's like with your kids. I mean, some of the most incredible times are when you have these connections over something they're passionate about, and you get to validate and you get to build into them that kind of passion. So really cool stuff. Reaching out and figuring out ways that you can help people identify. So identify how they can impact other people, how they can impact other people. So the sixth powerful way you can help other people is helping them to build connections. And one of my most favorite things to do in life is connecting people I know with other people I know. So good people with other good people, and then seeing how that relationship transitions into something bigger and better. One thing about it is that it is a risk. You're connecting people, but it's very gratifying to know that you can do this. I'm generally always uncomfortable with it, but find that when it's done, which is how you know you're engaging in something that's really great, is when it's done, the next week, the next day, although it's maybe uncomfortable in the moment, I'm like, I'm really glad I did that. That was a good thing. So inviting people that you don't know to join you with other friends, playing golf or going fishing or for coffee. Hey, we'll meet up and have coffee. I want you to meet somebody. This is cool. Or over email. You're connecting people. You're inviting them to play poker. But in all these situations, you're the one who's willing to go first and to initiate the interaction. I had this situation when I was 16 that I was talking to some other buddies about, and it was basically, who knows, crazy experiences we've been through in life. Well, at age 16, I had a shotgun pulled on me. And then another friend was saying, well, describe the situation. And I told them about it. And actually the shotgun wasn't just pulled on me. It was actually fired at the back of my car. You ever had those moments? I bet you can relate when you're with a friend and you go through this experience that is so shocking that it's never going to be something you forget. And it bonds you in a way that you couldn't possibly imagine. I didn't actually realize what had happened in the moment. I heard this big bang, but my buddy Josh, who is another friend, somebody I'm still close with today, he was calm. We were both shocked about what was going on. My heart was pounding, and when we heard it, we sort of felt it in the car. If you know what that feels like to get the back of your car blasted. I mean, hopefully you don't, but you do kind of feel it. I remember the whole situation, like what happened. And as I look back, I think on that situation, the part that stuck with me the most from then is that we didn't freak out. Like we were already friends. He didn't scream, and shut me down and tell me I'm stupid. And we drove off, we regrouped, and we already had a good friendship, but it's a memory we talk about at least every 6 months. And it was an experience that connected us. Real friendship isn't built during the fun times. It's actually revealed during the hard times, during the circumstances that we didn't choose for ourselves. That's why people build great connections often when they're going through something very difficult in their life, like a divorce or a job firing or a financial turmoil. It proves to us that they're more than a casual acquaintance. And you have the ability to connect other people. How? Well, think about the situations where you can just invite somebody to join you in whatever you're doing. Exercise. Hey, you want to go? I have a friend who recently, once a month, has been planning pickleball events. And he just sends out a Google invite and sends it out to maybe 8 friends or whatever, and people go who can go. But he's been planning that consistently. So it shows up on my calendar. And it's like, I wish I could go. And I want to go. But it's that invitation that makes you feel included. And also there are people that I would connect with in that environment that I don't even actually know. Very cool stuff. It's going to show you as you connect people with these other people you want to help, that you can let go and things can happen and you don't have to control it. Hopefully you never get shot at. Okay, that's not what I'm recommending here, but I am recommending that you find ways to connect people. And even think about it, look around you. Who's in life with you? Who do you want to be in life with you more? Who do you really want to help? Well, invite them. I recently invited my sister, who I have trouble connecting with, to attend a business meeting as well, to get to know her at a different level. So she met my operations guy, Lloyd. And it was a fun time, very business oriented, but it's kind of fun to connect with your sister that way. She owns a business, a successful business. And so it's really pretty cool. So what's a moment in your life, think about it, when it showed you who your real friends are? And I'd really encourage you to share that. So you can comment and you can express that. You can write that down below. If you're watching this on YouTube, what's the situation where you really felt like you learned who your good friends were? Just last week, I had a situation where one of my clients was struggling in an area in his specific line of work. And I had this other client who I thought, man, you could really help this guy. And I connected him. I asked for permission. Say, hey, I know somebody you really probably talk to here. And then they ended up talking on the phone on Friday, and I heard it was helpful. I wasn't there in the interaction, but I only heard positive things from both of the people that were involved in that conversation. And I had a part in that, man. That's pretty cool. Wow. And I don't know what it's going to end up, what the end result is going to be, but there's no growth in life without risky endeavor. If you want to grow personally with more freedom, more connections, with more financial success, whatever it might be, you're having to do things that are risky, which involves courage, and you don't know what the outcome is actually going to be. Think about it. You're going to help more people when you realize that I have to let go in my life more. You can do that. So 7 ways to encourage others. This is part 2. It's motivating. And if you found this helpful, check out Shatterproof Yourself. This is our course. There's 7 small steps to a giant leap in your mental health. One of the big steps is on building relationships. I walk you through whiteboards that I've shown to clients thousands of times. And there's videos of these whiteboards and worksheets that I've used with clients thousands of times over 25 years. It's stuff that you're going to need to take action on. And you can go ahead and enroll in that course, and you get community engagement as well. So by the end of the day today, do something with some insight that you gained today. Of these ways that I shared, 7 ways you can help people. Talk to somebody about it. Share it with somebody casually. Remember, insight is less than 20% of transformational change. Action is 80%. Make a good plan and act, because a good plan that you act on is 100 times better than a perfect plan that you do nothing with. Remember, there's no positive change until you decide. Deciding means you are eliminating other options. You're deciding your legacy today. Your legacy is the impact your life has on other people. So do me a favor, forward this episode to one friend, share it, and say, hey, this episode was helpful. Subscribe and give me a rating and review on Apple or Spotify. This helps the podcast to grow organically. And I'm going to close the way that I always do. Make it your mission to live the life today that you want to be remembered for 10 years after you're gone. You decide your legacy, nobody else. And either you will decide your legacy, or by default, fear is going to decide it for you. I appreciate you greatly, and I'll see you next time.